So, this might be a little bit of a disrupted one today. We have got one child on the roof of my tiny house, the other two up the road with the neighbours, the dog inside, all of them making noise. But I wanted to share this video because something changed in me today. It was like I reached this line of literally stopping apologizing for my existence. I felt it all the way through me, this alchemical fire. And I wanted to bring this into a video about sex as medicine, and I want to make these two things make sense. So I've been in this situation where there's a definite energetic mismatch between myself and the people who own where I live. And through this experience, I guess, I've been able to use the mirror to see where I've constantly softened to stay safe. And as I'm now in this position where I don't actually need to feel safe anymore because I know my own creative power, I know that I am my safety, I realize that I no longer can be available to apologize for who I am, and I have to honor my energy as sacred. I have to honor my fire and the fact that other people see it as a threat, and know that it isn't. It is just that my soul is present. So this is where sex becomes medicine. This sexual energy is your creative life force. It's not just about intimacy or desire. It's this raw, primal, intelligent life force that creates everything. And it's what brings a soul into body. It's what sparks a song, a project, a business. And I've talked about how this energy is so blocked in people. And I've talked about how the Kundalini awakening actually starts to unblock this energy. But what I want to talk about now is about what happens when you come into full creative expression, when you realize that life can create itself through you, not for performance to other people's expectations, not for performance to goals, not to keep you safe, simply just to be your soul experiencing itself in your physical body without limitation. And that is the alchemical fire, the ignition of that creative flame. It is ceasing to wait for approval. It is ceasing to wait to feel safe. It is ceasing to wait to be validated. Those things are the frequency of survival, giving away your power in exchange for crumbs of approval or connection. That is sex as a transaction. Sacred embodiment of your alchemical fire, of your sacred sexuality, is different. It says, simply in its being, no, my energy is not a commodity. No, my body is not a transaction. It's a temple. And I don't need to be chosen by anything, validated by anything, because I choose myself in every moment. And it's a return to your pure self, like a rewilding, a remembering of the true divine feminine that creates not from lack, but from the overflow of her truth. But something else I realized today is the energetic boundaries that we need to have in place through our voice, through our self-honor, so that we can create from overflow, so that our energy is not being harvested, so that our softness is not being taken advantage of, because that lack will create lack, versus the energy of overflow will attract overflow. And nothing, no strategy, no plan, no good luck can actually override what the body is broadcasting through your energy. So this is so important. Magnetism is not something you do, it's something that you allow when you stop outsourcing your power to others. when you stop confusing power with control. It's not. True power is returning to your fire. It's alchemical because you transmute it into creation. You use your voice, you use your expression instead of silencing yourself to be palatable, instead of dimming your light to be accepted, instead of apologizing for your body, your voice, your rage, your desire. And when you do this, you don't just reclaim your confidence, you stand fully in your power, your creative power. And the fire transmutes all of that shame into sovereignty. That fire melts your internalized too muchness. And your fire says in fucking energy, I will no longer abandon myself for comfort in any way, shape, or form anymore. This is the true alchemy of sex as medicine. It heals not through the act or transaction, it heals through presence. It's your radiance, your voice, your magnetism, all when you are in your essence, not performing to seduce or to secure attention. It's choosing yourself so fully, so fiercely, so unapologetically that the whole world starts reflecting that wholeness back to you. That's the true law of attraction. The world rises to meet your inner union. Versus this old paradigm that I talked about in yesterday's video where we're taught to trade. We're taught to make that exchange. And we end up just contorting ourselves to fit what sells. We become disconnected from what actually magnetizes, which is the truth of who we are in our true essence. And this is why so many creators, healers, visionaries burn out trying to build success on somebody else's blueprint. Essence is your natural frequency. It's the flavor of truth that flows through you when you're not performing and you are not apologizing for your true power. When you learn to ground this frequency into your business, everything flows from there. You stop chasing clients and you begin to attract them. Money flows to your coherence. The more that you are yourself, the more life mirrors that back. So this isn't just mindset work, it's frequency work. It's nervous system regulation, it's embodiment. And it's medicine that will heal the whole collective, because when we individually choose to live as fully expressed, whole, integrated, sovereign beings, we become a living frequency of liberation for others. We are dissolving that old world. Yesterday, I talked about my responsibility as a mother to embody the new paradigm to my children, not just talk about it, but embody it. And what I'm talking about today, dissolves the idea of sacred sexuality as something to be hidden, something to be ashamed of, or something to be done as a performance. It dissolves the template of work as slavery. It dissolves the idea of relationships as transaction, worth as conditional, and you become the template of divine design. So if you've ever felt like your truth was too much, if you've ever felt that your fire was too wild, if you've ever shrunk who you are or apologized for who you are, sex can also be your medicine. If you want to go deeper, I created an intimate 3-part masterclass that you can access through the link in the description, and I hope that this is helpful. And if nothing else, just stand in your truth, because you are absolutely perfect. And I want you to hear that in case you don't believe it, and especially if somebody has made you feel the opposite. Much love.